Good morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream, and I'm going to do the March 16th spiritual principle a day in a meditation. I hope you're doing well today. Let's go ahead and get into that meditation. Let's see. Accepting that I'm not always right. Why would they do that to me today? Accepting that I'm not always right. Okay. Let's see what it says. If we notice that we are the lone voice on every issue, we may want to consider the utility of acceptance and surrender as spiritual principles. Guiding Principles, Tradition 2, Opening Essay. It's hard being right all the time. What makes it more difficult is that people don't seem to notice how right I am. Before recovery, we are completely resistant to others' perspectives, especially about what we're doing with our lives. My life, my choices. Sometimes we'd pretend to hear someone out. Yes, great idea. I will apply for that job tomorrow. But we'd hit up the dealer instead. Then we get clean, and there's an expectation that we take suggestions from more experienced members. Yes, great idea. I will get a commitment tomorrow. And we actually do. We even join a home group and are excited to participate in the monthly business meetings. We have some great ideas that will improve this group. First off, the IP should be racked in numerical order. Secondly, the refreshments cost too much. We know where we can get cheaper stuff. And about that meeting format, our area has too many literature studies. There are exactly 0 supporters of our proposed overhaul. Actually, there are other proposals on the table the group favors. Those won't work, we think. The group feels differently and votes accordingly. The meeting continues to thrive. What do I do now? We consult with a member we kind of trust. Accept it and move on, they respond. The concept of a group conscience is foreign to many of us, especially one expressed through a loving higher power. As NA members, we all get to have our perspectives heard. With practice, we even start to see the wisdom in others' ideas. For some of us, our acceptance only goes as far as this. Their ideals are almost as good as mine. Today, I can let go of some of my attachment to being right and accept the group's conscience. I will say, yes, great idea to someone else and do my best to mean it. Let's take a moment of silence followed by the we version of the Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. Thank you. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. This meditation, accepting that I'm not always right. If I had to say this was a 5-star, I'd be lying. I think this is a 5-star meditation. Come on, guys. This meditation is a 2-star at best. Okay, I'm teasing. I'm teasing. I'm just joking, y'all. Okay, let me see. Let me drink some coffee first before I try to unpack this 2 star. Okay. All right. That was a good sip of coffee. All right. So let me try to get away from them. It's like a play or a playwright. It's like a script here, right? With the italics, and let me stay away from that part of it, okay? And just talk about the essence of it. You can go back through and read it like a script, right? Because I think it's difficult for me, to pull out of it the gist. So the gist here is that sometimes when we're dealing with a home group, that sometimes there would be ideals that we might have when a topic comes up and no one responds to it. They don't think that's a good idea. They just kind of allows your ideal to go into one ear and out the other, or you start noticing facial reactions and no one's impressed with anything you have said. Has that ever happened to anyone? Can I get somebody to raise their hand and say that has happened to me? It has happened to me. I really can't say that I had a reaction in the sense of negativity. Um, there's times when I have vindictively voted against an ideal just because I felt like the person could have gone along with my ideal. So that's a negative reaction, right? And it went through anyway. In our area, we have some very strong personalities. They have service positions that they didn't get voted into. But everyone around in the home group is so uh, fearful of being cussed out that they don't speak up, and they allow certain people to go around bullying the home group. And unfortunately, a lot of these bullies have a lot of clean time. And so the people with lesser clean time, for all of the decade or so that they've been clean, they've been used to this person or that person doing that particular position or this particular position. And they're never going to speak up because, hey, they got clean with the individual doing this or doing that. What if it worked for me, it could work for other people. Right. I think we should play into our strengths when it comes to service positions. Right. And I think that the concept of them rotating is a healthy one so that no one takes ownership of the whole home group and bullies the rest of the home group into what they want done. So the point is that the way that it's supposed to go is that everyone has an opinion, everyone has a vote, and wherever the majority ends is what actually should take place. That's when the group has not succumbed to group think, right? That's a whole theory and a whole concept about group mechanics, right? So when a group has succumbed to group think, pretty much no one has the backbone to try and go a different direction because they're fearful, or it's easier to just go along with the flow and not make waves. At some point in time, if you're involved in your business meetings, you're going to find that you have an opportunity to voice your opinion. And the question will be, will you? And if you don't, even if they don't like your ideal, it's better than not voicing your opinion. And if you choose not to voice your opinion, why complain? Why complain? That is such passive aggressive behavior, to go along with the flow for the sake of keeping the peace and then complain and really make it difficult for the vote to be carried out because you're backstabbing, you're complaining behind the scenes, but you didn't speak up. No, that's not how that works. We grow up in recovery, right? We realize that we have a spot at the table, a seat at the table. And with that seat at the table, we also have a voice, So in the essence of this, being able to accept that you're not always right, let's think about it. The most I hear my voice, because I'm in counseling, right? So the most that I hear my voice is about every few minutes. Oh, tell me more about that. Right? The famous words of a counselor, right? All day long. I'm listening, 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 listening. The most I literally hear my voice is when I spend time with you guys. The rest of the day is about my ears being wide open and my heart being pliable, right? With compassion for others. So I get really complacent in these business meetings and atmospheres. I get very complacent, whereas I'm used to listening, right? It takes a lot of courage for me to speak up. It may not seem like it to you because we've been hanging out year after year, but it takes a lot for me to actually speak up and trust that when I speak up, right, even if I feel rejected, I don't have to go into the yell mode. I don't have to flip the switch, right, and go into high gear because I'm not being received. So a lot of times my not speaking up has very little to do with whether or not I have an opinion. It has more to do with whether or not I feel like I'm in a spiritual place where even if what I have to say is not received, that I can accept that, right? And so I appreciate this meditation from that angle. I do. And I'm speaking from my own experience that if you have something to say, find the way to say it in a diplomatic way and say it. Find the courage to change the things that you can, right? And not everything you're going to say is going to be received. And that's where you need the serenity to accept the things that you can't change, because I cannot be responsible for how people feel about the things that come out of my mouth, especially if I'm saying them in a manner that is palatable, right? I have absolutely nothing to do with what people feel. That's not my job. And so let's take a chance today. Let's move in faith today and get out there and be a bit more outspoken in a positive way about our opinions, and let the group conscience be the guide. We don't have to control everything. And it's okay to let go of the reins of control. My name is MightyStream. I've enjoyed talking to you today and enjoyed laughing with you today too. I hope that you'll have a beautiful day on purpose. I intend to talk to you tomorrow.